Thanks a lot for coming in.
Good morning. Happy to be here.
Something about this community appeals to you?
This is a wonderful place to live.
For Kelowna Now, this is Kent Mulgat.
And we're joined by Dan Schlosser from the Central Okanagan Search and Rescue. Dan, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
And I wanted to just start off, in case I forget, by thanking you and the people who are always out there, whether it's 2 in the morning, no matter how cold it is. Your group of people will head out into the backcountry and find our loved ones when they're lost. So thank you.
You're welcome.
So why do you do it? You've been doing this, you say, for about 16 years. What drew you to doing this?
Well, I think everybody has their own reasons for joining SAR. Mine personally was I used to be a diver, commercial diver, and a friend of mine in diving went and said, you should be looking into the SAR stuff. We had recently lost somebody in our family, like a brother-in-law of mine, diving, and they spent 3 days searching for him. And so that I kind of saw how that all kind of came about. And I always wanted to try and help out the best I can, and didn't really even know there was a search and rescue back then. And because even though we have a long-standing time of having a search and rescue group, we're one of the oldest in the province. We weren't a very big group, so it took me a while. It took me 3 years actually to apply, and then when I did get in, I've been there ever since. So yeah.
You and about 45 other people in the Central Okanagan do this?
Yep. So we like to keep our numbers at about 50 people. We are thinking about doing another intake late this year or maybe next year, just because we just did 2 back-to-back. And they're quite intense training program. It's a 70-hour program just out of the box, and each group does their own little variation of it. Ours is about 85 hours, all said and done. And it includes an overnighter, and you learn tracking and just all that kind of stuff. So it's quite involved.
Do you need to be a certain age or physical condition to be able to be eligible?
The age doesn't matter so much. We have people all varying ages. It's more the stage of life you're at, whether you can commit the time, right? We have jobs for everybody. Fitness can be an issue, obviously. I mean, if you're going out there and, if we have to come and get you after you've gone to get them, then it could be a problem.
Yeah. So I wanted to go over some of the things that people can do to avoid being the subject of a search. If someone's going out on a snowmobiling trip, what are the necessary things they should have with them before they head out?
Well, everybody should have some kind of a go pack type of a thing where they keep, something to keep. Think of things if you get stuck out there, what do I need to be worried about? Can I start a fire? Can I have a blanket? Do I have water? A little bit of food, right? Food's not really high on the list, but it should be on the list. Obviously, you can go a lot longer without food than you can with water. Right. And if you get hypothermic or you get, disorientated, then you got other problems. So.
Okay, those are the basics, say if you're just traveling on a snow machine, but if you're going into an area where there's any chance of avalanche, well, you've got to start adding to that list, am I right?
Definitely. If you're going to be in an avalanche area, the first thing you should do is get training. It costs a little bit of money, but put a price on your own life. I mean, how can you do that, right? So if you're going to know you're going to be in an avalanche area, go get some avalanche training. You and your buddies, and learn how to do it properly. Then take your little beacons and take them out, little transceivers, and again.
You need shovels and also...
Definitely shovels, probes, because realistically, in an avalanche, you got about a half hour to find somebody. And then the window gets very, very small of their chance, right? So, of recovery. So you got to think about that. So by the time, even if we get a helicopter in there, we're a half hour away, right? By the time you get a hold of us and we get the wheels going, it's going to be a half hour. So it's going to be, their best survival is going to be you.
Yeah. Right. So you've gone out on so many of these searches. What are the same mistakes that people make over and over to get themselves in trouble or stuck or for whatever reason needing search and rescue? What are the common mistakes?
I think the 3 biggest things are, 1, not having a trip plan in a sense of telling people where they're going to go be. right? That's a big thing, because lots of times we get a call out and they have no clue where this person is. So that's a big thing. Second one is not being prepared, not going out there with the proper equipment, like you were saying, right? Making sure that you can keep your core temperature warm and build a fire, or have a blanket, or whatever the case may be. And then I think the third one too is not really knowing what you're getting yourself in for, right? Lots of times, usually in the shoulder seasons, like the spring and the fall, people they think, oh, it's a nice sunny day, and they go out there hiking in shorts and whatever, and then they get stuck out there. And what do they got? They got shorts and flip-flops, or whatever the case may be. It's like, okay, you didn't really think that you could get stuck out here, and that's fine, but...
Sun goes down, temperature drops.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or you fall into the creek and you get wet, right? Now you're
Yeah.
going to get some serious issues.
But back to the snowmobiles,
Yep.
it often sounds, and you hear the area where they're lost and found sort of described in news reports, but it always sounds to me like the tendency is to follow the terrain downhill, and it goes into some sort of a draw where it's easy to go down, but not so easy to come up. Is that not a common way to sort of get yourself stuck?
Well, in the days of old, they used to say, follow a river, because river always leads to a city type of a thing, which that may or may not be true. It can lead away from a river too, right? Usually they run to a river, right? So you could be hiking 5 hours this way and there was a city an hour that way, right? So it can take you both ways. However, with cell phones now, we're finding a lot of people are, because they're trying to get that signal, right? So they're trying to get out into the open, which isn't necessarily a bad idea. I think the big lesson on that is when you realize you're lost, is to stay put. Unless I can see that, I know there's a cell tower there, and if I get here, I can do it. It's not a big risk for me to go over to that location.
Right.
Then that makes sense. But for the most part, you should really just stay put. Somebody's coming to get you.
Yeah. So you'll see that people go, oh, there's a cell tower over that way, so I don't care what's in my way, and they start making bad decisions.
Well, that's exactly it, because you don't know what's between you and that location to see the cell tower, right? There could be a gorge or something that you could fall into, or that type of thing.
So you look at the evolution of snowmobiles, and they look nothing like they did back in the 1980s.
Exactly.
They're getting better and better, faster, more powerful, and they can go on terrain that someone wouldn't even have thought of traveling on before. So that's great. But on the other hand, it can get you into more trouble, can it not?
That's right. It's the same thing for snowmobiles, ATVs, all that stuff, right? Our machines are getting bigger, faster, scarier, right? They take more training, and then lots of people get this stuff and they think, hey, I can just go and do what I want. Not realizing that they need proper training for these machines. Anybody can, with a paycheck, or I should say, with money, can go and buy this stuff, right?
Yeah.
When you go to a recreation store and say, I want this latest and greatest machine, it just takes money. They don't give you any training on that stuff. So you need to go out and get that training, and then you need to know the area you're traveling in.
How many people really do? I mean, when you find these people, I imagine in a lot of cases, they don't have the basic survival stuff with them, and they don't necessarily have the training that you're talking about, do they?
No, they don't. And part of that is kind of, as much as technology has improved our situation, it's also worsened our situation in the sense that people rely on it too much. Yeah. So they got a GPS, and this is great, or a cell phone. But then when that thing breaks down, now what?
Yeah.
Do you know how to use a map and compass? Do you have a map and compass, right? Do you, all these things come into play. So, yeah.
You finally find these people, you probably partly want to say, you knuckleheads, why didn't you? But you don't, probably, hey?
You don't. And, a few years ago, there was a situation in Golden where, they were going on about, liability and all that stuff. And one of the things that somebody was talking about was, all these guys, we should be charging
them for rescue,
Yeah, and I understand that logic, right? Because there is a cost to this. I mean, even though we're volunteers, we do it for nothing. We have to keep our equipment, the helicopters, all the people that are involved. I mean, it's an immense cost. But the problem with that is that if you start charging for it, in my opinion, then people stop calling you and they start looking themselves.
They're going to say, maybe we can, no, let's not call yet. We can probably get ourselves out of this. We don't want our parents to hear that, we're going to get billed for this.
Yeah.
And now they're going to stay in there too long, which might make things even harder for you.
Yeah. So it's kind of one of those areas, kind of like, do we really want to go down that road, right? Because, and you can say, well, what about the people that put themselves in that situation. Well, we're not judge or jury. It's like we can't decide that.
Yeah. You just got to do things like this and try to keep reminding people. But are we doing any better? Are people better equipped now than they were 10 years ago? Is the message getting through to at least some people?
I think people are better equipped. I think they're not as well trained.
Right.
You know.
Okay, so they're going, okay, I've heard I need this, 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 and this.
Yeah.
And they may not even know how to use the darn thing.
Exactly. They have a spot. Yeah, a spot is a little beacon thing that if you get
Yeah.
into trouble, you can hit the button and sends a signal. But half the time they don't think
Right.
of turning it on or even letting
Right.
somebody know how to check into it.
So it's easy to say, hey, look, I've got all my safety equipment. All right, let's hit the trails. But,
Yep.
yeah. All right, well, there's some helpful advice there.
Yeah.
Dan Schlosser, thanks so much for
Thank you,
coming
Ken.
in. Again, we so much appreciate what you do.
Great. Well, thank you very much.
And thank you for watching Kelowna Now.